Perfect question. See the electrical cord. Electrical cord up there. I'll explain what that is. A couple things. The blonde. I could have sworn it was. I took a video of someone on campus yesterday with a mustache, wearing a coat to imply that he was one of Bono's perps or fans from YouTube. FedEx employees. Yeah, Gillible's not doing well. Jonathan David Ford, his STEM right next to me, walked in here immediately. She's dangerous. And that one looks like Susie. It's not a compliment at all. Yep, you just look like him. Joseph. There has to be Joseph's in there. Looks a little bit of Chris Gilbo. It's kind of scary. I had a there is a poster, electrical cord. There was something else here before with a little girl wearing the exact same coat that I have. Black little girl. It's in the Westwood location. Little girl with the black, with the red jacket. Black little girl. I think I got this at a resource center, homeless resource center. And she's wearing little feet on her feet, red little feet, and the feet look a lot like Bobby when he was little. Cover little feet. They're making fun of Bobby. And she's wearing pigtails. That's Chibi's. Thick eyebrows. There's a poster in the Westwood. They had to go and blow it up. It was hanging in here with the electrical cord right on top of her. So they changed it. I made a little bit noise about it, or it left an impression on me. Look at the coat I'm wearing. Very anti-Semitic, anti-Black, anti-Catholic. I had a regular sack forced on me, and because of the technology they're using in 2009, 2010, in San Diego, California. I had to go to the UCSD emergency room in Hillcrest, and I was taken there. I actually went there by myself, so they're interfering with my speech. I walked in there by myself, actually. Welcome to my daily fucking life. That should be considered obstruction. That's the the page thing on the 1520 Westwood Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90024, right next to the Coffee Bean. Not too far from the Coffee Bean in Ohio. I was just there in the corner. Anyway, I had an irregular sac that I needed to deal with afterwards. I walked in there first because I was pregnant, and it wasn't a rape, and it was a while back. I'd rather not mention the father, but he's not a good. I was already looking to the March of Dimes just to support myself, and I'm thinking, when was I going to do? Go after Social Security? It was a long time ago, and it was unfortunately one of these perps, and I was with them for 4 years, which is a nightmare because I was overweight, 53 pounds on Depakote. It's two of them. One of them looks like Harris from D.D. Hirsch on Sepulveda Boulevard. And they just walked in. It looks like they can hear me or something. Okay. This is in our own backyard at UCLA. Okay. Anyway, I was looking, they're interfering, 911. I was looking for the March of Dimes back then. I was on Depakote, 53 pounds overweight. I didn't need it, so I was just trying to keep up with my disability money. So I was a miserable bitch. I was miserable for 4 years, overweight. And you can see my pictures on Flickr, FLICKR.com. Those are very important because I was just camera happy back then. I was just clueless. And I was a miserable person with that person. He grew on me. That's all I said to him. I'm not racist, obviously. And I got off the pill because I wanted my own baby. It had nothing to do with him. So, unbeknownst to him. So, and I was just not. I was just thinking I want my baby, and I ended up. You should have seen how vicious, malicious they were when I was found that I was pregnant. I was really happy, and I was living at the boarding care, Tina Baker boarding care. Oh my God, on the street, they wanted to, like, there were women passing by, like, and I'm like, and I was, I went over to the downtown library to look up information on how to take care of myself. And I found out that I could get on 400 milligrams of folic acid pills if I bought some at CVS. And I should not be eating, it was advisable not to eat cold cuts, like bologna or hot dogs during pregnancy because that will affect it. I was just trying to hear. I was really happy. I was, my own little single parent little thing. And I went over to another library and looked up information on the March of Dimes. I was need help from the March of Dimes. And, all of a sudden I'm bleeding, and I looked up and I'm like, oh no, that's usually not a good sign. And I was at 7 weeks and I was bleeding. I was spotting. I'm looking at myself like, that's not good. So I went over to the UCSD Medical Center in Hillcrest. I walked into and I think I was a little bit in shock when I found out about it. I walked into the emergency room and I'm thinking, there's something wrong with my foot. That's the first thing I said to the emergency attendant. And then on the bottom I put, oh, by the way, I'm pregnant and I'm spotting. and turned out that they weren't very nice, and I was told that I needed to come back, and I had to wait for the disconnect, so the miscarriage, because it was going to disconnect eventually. I had an ultrasound. And in the ultrasound, I was told that the baby was dead inside of my womb. These are things I don't talk about. I don't want these suckers getting any ideas with other women. And that was back in 2009, 2010. I know pain. So she told me the baby's dead, and then I was told afterwards I need to come back and after miscarriage, the disconnect. I was in one of the rooms and I was told that. Did you have anyone to pick you up? And I'm like, not really, but I did call him, and he said that he had a survey that he needed to do off of not too far from 25th and K Street, research, not too far from the Jehovah's Witness location. It's a huge building. You'll see it. They conduct research all the time, and used to get paid for doing research studies. There was a research study, and he said, I can come over if you want. I'm like, no, I'm okay. So I was there by myself, so it must have been weird. And I asked for breakfast, and they refused. They played Indian Giver up here. And I didn't get any breakfast. And then I asked for a voucher later on. There was something weird going on with the exam afterwards, my physical exam. And I asked for, a matter of national security. Sorry, getting stupid ideas with other people. That's the only thing I thought. And I was told that a taxi voucher. I asked for a taxi voucher, and they were very malicious about it. No, we can't offer taxi vouchers because I was hemorrhaging. I walked out of the hospital, and the taxi drives right by me. I mean, evil. Okay, a taxi drives right by me, and it was dark, and I don't remember how I made it to the Euclid trolley stop or how I made it back home, but I don't. I guess I was in shock, a lot of stress, but I was staying at his place. I went to his place while he was at the research center, and I went to the Euclid trolley stop, and it started hurting a little bit. So I remember that I was waiting for the 9:16 or 9:17, and it was a short bus, and I know for they pass by every hour, no matter what. So I remember that it's a short bus. So on the weekends, the buses are really small and really tiny, because it's a weekend, but they still pass by every hour. So I'm like, it must have been a Saturday or a Sunday. So I was sitting at the bench, and through the electronic surveillance, this is they're very evil. They started. I felt that they're affecting it. It began to. I felt some tugging inside of my insides, and then I felt a push, or I don't know. That's how I would. So it exited, and the only thing I thought, like they're trying to make me. They're trying to. They're shocked that they're trying to traumatize me and my baby by forcing me to have a miscarriage, and I was already in shock. All right, and I was already in shock with with a dead baby in my system. So, right there on the actual bench, it happened. So I started crying. And there was a lady next to me, a real nice lady, friendly lady, black lady, black. I believe she was a black lady. She said, "Do you need me to call 911?" Because she didn't know what was going on. Like, yes. And then the bus driver was kind enough to come out, and she said, "Do you need? I'll call 911 too." The fire department showed up, and they were professional. And I'm thinking, none of them knew. I wasn't aware of it at the time, but I'm like, but I knew that the pain. What was I going to do? Explain what was happening to me? She's out there. It's a miscarriage. But from what I perceived from the fire department, they didn't know what was going on. There go the LEDs. They didn't know what was going on. So I was there. It was professional, and then the disconnect. And they just took the rest of it out of me, and that was normal, and I still didn't get a voucher. So that's one incident, and I've lost two, and I lost the other one when I was 20 years old. Pat, I'm not going to make actually remember the person's name, but similar situation. I'm like, that's not murder. So I'm thinking, I was like, well, that's not. It was voluntary. So I'm thinking, wait, when was it? 6 weeks. So when I said, was it 6 weeks? I'm like, why 7 weeks and why 6 weeks? I go, well, anti-Semite is one, and then 6 weeks was 20. I was 20 years old. I ended up getting pregnant really young when I was in college, and I'm like, oh my God, what about school? I didn't like this person. I wasn't happy with this person. I'm like, oh, am I going to give up school? Blah crap. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do? And he asked me to marry him. I'm like, no, right off the bat, no, I'm not going to marry you. And we were at the Beverly Center, I remember, and I believe he even purchased a real ring. I'm like, no, I'm not even going to marry you. But I wasn't thinking. I'm thinking. I retroactively withdrew from the quarter, and I stayed in bed depressed for about 6 weeks. My roommate I think at one time was asking Alice Chu, C.H.U. She was my roommate back then. We used to live in veteran apartments in veteran, and I was only 20 years old, so I was very, very depressed. And that 6 weeks I hadn't seen him. As he shows up at 6 weeks and says, I found an abortion clinic in Glendale, California, he said, and Frank's girlfriend found it for me, his girlfriend at the time. I think they were having some kind of threesome back then. But anyway, that's a long time ago. It came out this time around. So he took me over to the Glendale clinic, a very inconspicuous place, or conspicuous. And and you're supposed to have someone wait there with you afterwards. I was on the stirrups, and then she asked me, would you like to know the sex of the baby? And I was like, no, I was young. I'm like, no. And I was depressed. So I was very, I was like, no, I don't want to know the age of the baby. And they could. I didn't know at 6 weeks you could find out the age of the sex of the baby. I had no idea. So I had the abortion, and then come to find out he wasn't there. He didn't. He bailed on me. So I wasn't, and I'm on the computer at the FedEx, and the scanner helped a lot. That's where I scan my stuff. And I was very distraught, but thinking I need to get home. And I had thank God for my mother. She taught me how to ride buses as I was a little kid. And so what? I took the bus. I took the bus, and I remember stopping at a Burger King somewhere. Put on, I used something to improvise because I didn't have any pads on me. And then I got home to my Westwood apartment, and none of the girls were home. And I remember he calling me, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry I left you." And I'm like, "Fuck you." And I'm so sorry I left you. And, I wanted to bring over a couple of puppies on a motorcycle, on my CBR 900 to make you feel better. What was I going to do? Go on a CBR back home, And I remember that same evening, I'm like, my friend of mine, Petrina Bonick, let's go out. She said, let's go out dancing. And I went dancing to Baby Doe's in Pasadena, California. And I remember his brother, my ex at the time, was there, and he saw me and gave me a yellow rose. He gave me a yellow rose. I thought I was thinking friendship. And he looks at me and he says, "How can you be jumping up and down so much after everything you went to today?" And then he walked away. He handed me a yellow rose. I remember that specifically. He handed me a yellow rose. So I think that's very important. I don't talk about much, but like I said, I know Scott. I know pain. And that's excruciating pain. I'm thinking, they're gonna do it to other people. I'm not stupid. And I'm like, don't over a guy until you're gonna be messing with me over a guy. I've been, the last boyfriend after the baby, I went out with someone for a month and a half, and then for about a month and a week, and then I didn't date again. I didn't feel like dating. I'm very happy single. I don't have issues. I'm not dysfunctional. I don't have issues with men, so no excuses. I'm strong. I feel happy without a man. And it looks like I've never been in love. I've been politically targeted since I was like in elementary school. They keep sending me these idiots. And so, no, I've never been in love. And I'm 42 years old, but I'm very happy. And you go and you see this shit. He's making fun of my baby. He didn't, and I don't think they knew about the other one. The poster that I came in here, and I'm wearing this, and they gave it to me for the resources. Let me. I'll get it back to you. They took it off recently. I asked her, "Can I have that?" I was right here. No, you can't have it. And it's of a black little girl. I'm thinking, where's the little girl? The one they took the picture of. How is she doing? It's right next to a gingerbread house, right next to a Christmas tree. She's a black little girl. My baby would have been part black. So people don't know me. My high school was 90%. 95% for the demographic, Latino and Black. I use the word nigger on the Arlington Church of Christ, and I don't use it, and that's only them. Look at what they do, and I guess I need to explain it, but I figure people will pick up on it eventually. And there's certain things I can't talk about right now. But don't fuck with me over a guy. Like, I'm gonna go crazy over a guy. Well, my brother, that's a whole different story. That's not, that's not dating. Don't fuck with a mommy scorned like twice over. That's the way I feel about it. I'm a mommy. And my kid would have been like about 20 years old by now. My first one, and the second one, I lost two. I wasn't murdered. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. It's voluntary. I'm like, oh, that's not voluntary. I'm like, okay. So I received this at the resource center when I was cold, and then I saw the poster here, and then you see that guy. They've got issues, and they put this on there, and this is Sylvia, Lydia, Morelos at FedEx. So I'll be right back.